Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. Today we are going to discuss about various processes in project management. Project management processes. The first learning outcome, at the end of this session, learners will be able to identify steps of project management process. Here is what the scene. The scene is the customer explains what his requirements are, like this in this type of a swing, where he explains that I need a tree and there would be a type of a swing where I want things like this, that secured type of a swing should be there. Okay. How the project leader understood it? The project leader understood it like this, that here is, he attached one and here is the another end. So there will be no swing. So the project leader assigns like this. Then comes how the analyst, he designed it. He designed something like this. He produced additionally two support here, and the trunk is made into two parts, and then the swing will be moving. What programmer does to it, to the project? The programmer puts it like this, that there will be no swing. He will generate a tree, he will make the things, he will attach somewhere, but nothing happens. Okay, when the project consultants, they comes into picture, they are having some sort of a very luxurious type of a treatment to this, because they are having some experiences in these domains. The project consultants gives such type of a swing. But when the project is documented on paper, there is nothing as a concrete part when it comes to the documentation. Right. Then comes the operations which are installed, the capacities that we want to execute with the feasibility and types of capacities that you are having at your end. They are very limited one. But how the customer was built? He was built like making a bridge. So huge cost is involved in making this to the customer. And how it was supported? It was not that much supported that it is just a trunk. It is the funds which are crunched one, so you can build up to this one. So you have to achieve to all these constraints, that is the constraints of time, then scope and the cost, giving the quality. What is the customer really wants? The customer was expecting, the customer was needed a thing like this, where a safety swing could be taken care. Right. So it is the classical example of how the projects are visualized. Let us move with the project management process. Project management is the application of knowledge, skill, tools and techniques to project management activities to meet the project requirements. What are the goals and objectives that are being set? To meet that, this will be the requirement. So this figure gives you an idea about how to start a project. That is entering a process, that is entering phase. Entering phase is nothing but it is initiating. Initiating the process is the first one. Second one is the planning stage, where you do the extensive planning and brainstorming on various sections of the projects, and planning is documented. Then comes the executing part of it. So planning, executive, planning and executing, planning and executing. These are combinedly, they are working it out in a day in and day out. They are working with plan and execution, that's all. But while making this, the envelope which is surrounding these two processes and many other processes like initiating, what is that one? That is essentially the monitoring and controlling process. This is the fourth step. This is the fourth step, that is monitoring and controlling the process. Okay. Finally, it has to be ended. So there is closing, completion, accomplishment of a project. So closing, finishing, completion will be the terminologies that you are going to use when it exits the phase. and that is the end of a project. That activity is in toto completed. Let us go in some more detail. The project management process groups are like this. The initiating process, what it gives a charter. So these are the objectives, these are the scopes, these are the timelines. What it gives a charter. Then comes planning process. Planning gives the project plan which needs to be executed thoroughly. Very dedicatedly, this project plan needs to be executed. Executing the process is the key. So your capacities, your resources should come together and integratingly they needs to work out with the project. So project will be executed in the executing process basically. Then comes the controlling and monitoring part of it. So controlling and monitoring part is always essential and with the executing part as well. Finally, there will be a closing of the process. What is in between execution and controlling? They goes like this: that recommended corrective actions work result in implemented corrective actions. Corrective actions are taken, the improved version of that part comes into picture, then this process goes to the executing and controlling again and again. And at the end, the objectives which are set for the project will be accomplished. So the outputs are linked together. So once output is linked to the input for the next phase. This is what the process groups work. Typically, these are the 5 basic project management techniques. The first one is defining a project goal, then creating a case, then complete the project charter. So all project charters will be completed in the initiating phase. Drop the list of stakeholders, that who are your stakeholders. Define the scope, then create a project plan, set the budget baselines and define the roles and responsibilities will be the second, called as planning. Execution, allocating the project resources, managing the project resources, building the product or processes, meet often and fixing as they arise. So you have to work day in and day out. Monitoring and culture, tracking effort and the cost tracking, monitoring the project programs, then ensuring the adherence to the plan, then preventing any chance of disruption. Finally, the completion comes into picture. Hand over deliverables, review the project deliverables, get the project resulted and approvals, document the project learnings. Finally, a project group is initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and control. Okay. Now, the activities which in mantra I will give you, authorize the work is the mantra for initiating. Authorize the work. Planning stage, plan to the work. Executing, work according to the plan. Work the plan. Monitoring and control, control the plan. And finally closing, end of the work. So these are the expected key outputs of initiating. Project charter would be there and a stakeholders register would be there. Planning gives project planning according to the scope, cost, quality, time, requirement, risk and changes. Execution, the project deliverables, that what performance we are expecting from you. Monitoring, the managing the change request is what the monitoring. And finally, the closing comes when final product, services and results are in place, the purpose of the project is accomplished, that is the formal closing. So here it is shown the initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and control. The cycle is called as a deeming wheel cycle, called as plan, do, check, action. References, these are the references that I have used. So S. Chaudhary, Project Management, Tata McGraw-Hill, and Narendra Singh, the Project Management and Control by Himalaya Publication. Basically, the reference is PMBOK Guide by Project Management Institute. Thank you.